about 100 pounds. Well, see, I think that if you think you can just be brave and all of a sudden, I don't think so. You can pretend, but to be that thing, really, you have to develop courage. One of the ways I suggest is don't sit in any company when there are racial pejoratives used. Just don't do it. I will not sit in company of black people who use that N word. I will not. I won't do it. You're not in my house, you don't. Not in me, you don't. I know that the word was used, was created to dehumanize people. Take the humanity out of somebody. And so, I know it's poison. I know that there are people who say, oh, I can use it because I'm all right, I'm black. No. If it was created as poison, if it's poison in a little vial that says P-O-I-S-O-N, and there's a skull and bones, you can take that whole content and pour it into Bavarian crystal. It's still poison. Poison. I will not have it around me. I would say, excuse me, not me, you don't. I'm not here. No. I would not use I would not use any pejorative that belittle any other human being. Spanish speaking, Native American, ASU, no, nobody, no. Now, mind you, I don't encourage you to just jump up and say, get out and get stuff. No. I must tell you, I was at 20th Century Fox as the first black female director-producer. And they had given me this magnificent office with sofas and all sorts of things. And some of the suits came over, the men came over, and they were standing around posing in my office. And I had an office, and then my secretary had an office, and the receptionist had an office. And these guys were standing around, and they used a pejorative, a racial pejorative, that the person, the race they were putting down was not represented in the group. And I said, excuse me, you can't use that in my office. And they looked at me like, what? I said, you're not in my office. No, you can't use that pejorative. And the fellow said, well, nobody here. I mean, we're not saying it's about anybody. I said, no, but I mean in my office. That's poison. Not in my office. One of the real big suits said, your office? So I said, okay, you gave me the office, but I'm occupying it. And they were standing there with their shirts all cut down to here, lots of gold chains all in the hair. And I said, no. Right now, it's my office now, and you can't. And they said, well, we gave you the office, and so I don't think we're in a position to put us out. I said, no, but I will get out. So I walked out of the office, through the secretary's office, past the receptionist's office, down the steps, and realized I left my purse. I mean, I couldn't go back. I died. So I hid in the bushes. So I encourage you, before you get up and walk out, make sure you have the keys to your car. Protect yourselves. Protect the person you are. Protect your souls. Look at yourself. If you can't understand that you represent every human being, go back and do it again. The statement is, I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. When you look in your encyclopedia tonight or tomorrow morning, you will see beside the word Terence with one R, you will see this afro. Men and women, I encourage you to write that down. Write it down in your blue book. Write it down so that you have it forever. And you can teach your children. So you can help to liberate them from the binds and bonds and chains of ignorance. Yes. I like the fact that you all laughed some before I came out. You were laughing at certain things. I like that. I wished you had sung more loudly. You know, I was amazed. I was singing backstage with all the people, but I was expected you all to sing the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. I would have thought so. As soon as possible, tomorrow, or well, tonight, if you have the librarian's home number. No. If you do, don't use my name, don't you? But I would encourage you to look. James Weldon Johnson, look at him, one of the great poets of the 19th and 20th centuries, African-American poet. Look up at James Weldon Johnson. And then I would encourage you to hear the music written by his brother, and see the lyric. The lyric is so important. It's for everybody. It's for Asians, it's for Africans, it's for Irish. Look up the lyric. See that it belongs to Germans. It belongs to everybody, to Jews. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies, and let it resound loud as a roaring sea. You know it is for you. All the poetry. I'm going to encourage you to ask your librarian for African-American poetry, particularly African-American, because alas, it's not taught frequently enough. And yet I suggest it can be credited with the survival of a whole people. You know, and I know that the first Africans were brought to what was to become the United States in 1619. That was before the Mayflower died. We have lived in incredible experiences, slavery for almost 300 years. Amazing. Amazing that somebody could actually say, I own this person. Amazing. And yet, here we are still here today, upwards of 50 million. And that's a conservative estimate. There's some people who swear there are more than 50 million black people in the Baptist church. They're not even counting backsliders and and here we are still here. Amazing. But because of the poetry, I think, you know, there's a shred from the 19th century folk song in which a black man spoke of the woman he loved. The man said, the woman I love is fat and chocolate to the bone.
I like it.
And every time she shakes, some skinny woman loses her home. Now, you know, you need something like that. You know, when another society is telling you you're too fat, I don't like your color. I mean, you know, I don't, and your heels, and you go out to in the back and everything. You need somebody to tell you, not only are you okay, you're just right. So the poetry, men and women, all of you black and white, you need a poetry to tell you you're just right. You're better than you think you are. Go to the African American poetry. Then go to the white American poetry. Go to listen. What about some of the lyrics in some of the Spanish songs? Que bonitos ojos tiene. About sus ojos, que bonitos ojos tiene. Ellos me quieren mirar. Look at what beautiful eyes you have beneath your two eyebrows. Oh, my man. They want to look at me and they look back, but you won't allow them. Listen, you find in the poetry, go to all of the poetry, hear it, and see, oh man, I'm okay. I'm not only okay, I'm just right. Yes. So I would encourage you to go to your librarian. The librarians have studied their discipline with as much diligence as open heart surgeons have studied. But we ignore them. As soon as they're positioned in their places, we begin to and we walk around. Go to the librarian. Ask her or him, using whatever appellation you all have agreed upon, Dr., Mrs., Yo, whatever. And say, I need to know some poetry. I need to know how I can keep myself up and keep myself appraised of where I am and who I am. And I need to know that I'm worthy of the best. The librarian will search and help you. Don't expect any immediate response. So many years have passed since she or he has been asked to utilize her. You'll have about 3 minutes of it. But when the shock is over, you'll have a chance to see how important. Let me tell you about poetry. I wanted to talk to you more about the particular heroes and sheroes we have. But the poetry is a hero, shero. So I want to talk to you a minute or two about poetry. I know that all those years ago when I was very young, I was with my mother's people. I was sent to them, to my mother's people when I was about 7, after I spent the time with my father's people. But I was sent to them, and my mother's people were very wonderful up in St. Louis, way up north in St. Louis, Missouri, from Arkansas, I was saying. And they spoke like this. I mean, they were very educated. They were really on all of this. And I had been living with my father's mother, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, and my grandma spoke like that. Every sentence was slowly given to the air. I went up to St. Louis and they talk like and also, I mean, I'm sorry to say, after I was there with them a few months, my mother's boyfriend raped me. And I told the name of the rapist to my brother, who told it to the family. The man was put in jail for 1 day and released. And then 2 big white policemen came over to the house, to my mother's house. And they said that the man was found dead, and it seemed he'd been kicked to death. I was 7 years old, I thought my voice had killed him, so I stopped speaking. I stopped speaking for 6 years. The only person I would speak to was my brother. I knew he loved me enough, and I loved him enough that I wouldn't hurt him. But my voice, I thought my voice could kill people. People just walking along the street if I spoke. So I stopped speaking.